Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel and my Spotify. Go check it out, guys. Curtain Jerkin has a Spotify. You can listen to all the episodes. It's pretty cool stuff. There's not really a Dragon Suplex podcasting network anymore, but I'm still out here. I'm still doing my thing after all this time. I might have to cut it back a little bit, guys. I might have to just talk about American wrestling because it's eating up a lot of my time watching a lot of wrestling. I love it, but you know, you got to make time for other things in life. And Japanese wrestling reviews sometimes don't always make the top of the list, and these are one of those times. But what is going to make the top of the list is my predictions for Elimination Chamber. We got Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley. I did enjoy when Edge and Beth Phoenix teamed up against Miz and Maurice last year WrestleMania or at Royal Rumble. I do enjoy Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is going to get the pin on Beth Phoenix, and then we have like an Edge versus Finn Balor match at WrestleMania. So yeah, I'm going to go Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor get the win there. We also have Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley won in Saudi Arabia, so I'm going with Brock Lesnar. They got to heat up old Brock for WrestleMania, regardless of who he's wrestling. I think he's going to go up against Bobby Lashley again, though. We also have the Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship. Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Montez Ford, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed. I like that they're doing it for the United States Championship. Seth Rollins, Montez Ford. I like all these guys. Johnny Gargano is kind of boring the last few months, though. Austin Theory is the United States Champion. I think he keeps it. Seth Rollins is going to do Logan Paul for WrestleMania. Montez Ford, much to his chagrin, is a tag team guy. Damian Priest is kind of already tied up in something. And I think Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed, unfortunately, they were very good in NXT, but in the main roster, they're kind of busts so far. So I don't really see them giving one of these guys that big of a push to to hold the United States Championship going into WrestleMania. So I think it's staying on Austin Theory, and I think Austin Theory may wrestle like John Cena or somebody. Who knows for WrestleMania. The Elimination Chamber Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Gonzalez, Natalya, and Carmella. Or let's just cut it out. Carmella's not winning. Natty's not winning. Raquel Gonzalez not winning. Nikki Cross. It's going to be Asuka. Liv Morgan, no way. They pushed her all summer. I don't really think they got much with her. Asuka's winning. No one's ready for Asuka, as they say. And then we have Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. Everyone knows who's going to win this one. But this is the one match that everyone wants to see. How interesting is that? Roman Reigns is going to win. The Usos aren't going to be there in Montreal. This is Sammy's hometown, home court advantage here. Roman Reigns is going to be coming out, getting booed out the building, going to beat his ass, and then get booed some more. Maybe Cody Rhodes will come into play here a little bit to kind of save Sammy from getting his ass beat. That's my prediction within a prediction, but Roman Reigns is going to win. But what few people are kind of realizing is there's two big shows this weekend. There is the WWE Elimination Chamber, but there's also New Japan Pro Wrestling going down in the Valley. Battle in the Valley, going down in the Valley. That was an old HBO documentary about pornography. Watched as a young man, just letting you guys know that. I watched that documentary before I saw any pornography, which is pretty interesting. Let me know in the comments below what you think that did to me psychology. Or don't, we could just talk wrestling. That'd probably be better for us. But going into the predictions of Battle in the Valley, Alex Coughlin versus J.R. Kratos. Two guys I enjoy tremendously whenever I watch an American show from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Alex Coughlin, I think, is going to win because I think J.R. Kratos has one foot in the door of New Japan, one foot in the door of NWA. He kind of came into his own in the post-pandemic era here, getting, wrestling on NWA and New Japan. And then we also have David Finlay versus Bobby Fish. These are both kickoff matches, so I guess it's just dark matches, not officially on the show. David Finlay versus Bobby Fish. I mean, Bobby Fish is kind of signed to Impact, so I don't really see them pushing him. David Finlay's been in New Japan for forever now. He's been in there since, guys like Jay White, Juice Robinson, but he's really just been kind of spinning his wheel. So, but I do see him getting the victory here, but I kind of want more from the guy. Let's see more from this guy. Then we have an 8-man tag: Rocky Romero, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Masquerita Dorada versus Valador Jr., Kushida, Kevin Knight, and the DKC. Holy shit, what a 8-man tag to kick off the show. A lot of, you got the Josh Alexander from Impact, Masquerita Dorada, Rocky Romero. That's only on one team. Valador Jr., I remember he used to tear it up a bunch. I haven't seen his name in quite a while. The DKC, he was in the dying days of Ring of Honor. He's still here in New Japan. Kevin Knight, not really too sure much. I haven't seen him much. And then Kushida, living legend Kushida. You can't go wrong with any of these makeshift teams here. But since Kushida is on one team, I'm going with Kushida's team. Then we have the New Japan Strong Championship match. Kenta, the challenger, who beat Tanahashi earlier this week to wrestle Fred Rosser. So this is, a title without a show, much like all the Ring of Honor championship matches or championships that we saw in AEW the past few months. New Japan Strong, I don't think, is around anymore. They have a champion, but they don't have a TV show. I don't think Kenta wants to be around this title at all. So I think Fred Rosser is going to beat Kenta here. That's just where I'm going with. We also have the Strong Openweight Tag Championships. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, versus a team that I've seen a few times. Jorel Nelson and Royce Isaac. Royce Isaac, of course, from NWA fame. He's a tag team specialist. Going up against, tag team legends and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I think the title is going to change hands here. I see it going on to these New Japan guys, Royce Isaac and Jorel Nelson. They're great. They're great together. I want to see something new here. Motor City Machine Guns with the titles, that's cool. But let's get it off these guys. The victory lap is over in their career. Let's see these new guys shine. Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. Jay White already lost a loser leave Japan match, but he still has to wrestle for New Japan. Eddie Kingston, not even a New Japan guy. This is going to be hard to call. One guy is on his way out. One guy is on his way to never even working really in the company because he works for AEW. I'm still going Jay White. They love Jay White. This is kind of going to be his swan song in America. They're going to push him. I think they really just wanted him on this card just to kind of show WWE that he can wrestle in America for New Japan. Then we have Filthy Rules match. No DQ. Ring ropes will not be used in this bout. Homicide versus Tom Lawler. Going Tom Lawler here. New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. versus Clark Connors. Clark Connors is, super cool, super interesting. I remember when New Japan Pro Wrestling came to Charlotte a few years ago. I got to see Clark Connors wrestle for the first time. He was like the first guy that I ever saw from the New Japan Dojo in LA, and he's killed it. So he's really cool to see him, advance as far in his career. That was that was like 5 years ago now. Zack Sabre Jr. is going to beat him, though. And then we have the double main event here. Kairi, formerly known as Kairi Sane, with the IWGP Women's Championship title versus Mercedes Monroe, former Sasha Banks, debuting her new name, her new gimmick, wrestling in New Japan for the first time, wrestling for the first time in like 8 months after leaving WWE. Mercedes Monroe, and I gotta go with I'm going with Mercedes Monroe here. She came over to New Japan and Stardom for a reason, and that's to take this title and hold the title high and get eyeballs on this product that aren't on there before, and I think she's going to do that. Then we have the double main event, part 2, Okada versus Tanahashi for like the 20th time. We all love it every time we see it. The second time on U.S. soil, the first time on the West Coast. You got to go Okada. Got to go Okada in this situation. It's only a second defense. Tanahashi's toothless. Bit into a protein bar. Fucked him up. I don't know why that weighs into my decision, but I think it weighs into my decision a little bit. And we're going with Okada there with those predictions. I did watch some New Japan Pro Wrestling from February 11th. It was pretty good. I kind of went over most of what I wanted to already talk about here, in kind of telling you guys that, Kenta beat Tanahashi for the chance to wrestle Fred Rosser, but then Tanahashi got, bumped into the main event. So it's like, do you want to lose to Kenta so you don't have to worry about the New Japan Strong title to then challenge Okada for the world title? Yeah, all day. Finger poke of doom. Who cares? I already brought up the loser leaves Japan match that Jay White lost. He lost to Hikuleo, putting over the youngest Haku's kid. That's not a bad thing. He's tall, he's big. You got a job on your way out. That's the guy to job too. LP versus Tama Tonga, another good match. Tama Tonga kind of holding his own. Hopefully he makes this never title his own, much like Will Ospreay did with the U.S. title. I can see it happening here. Beating LP, bringing LP into the heavyweight division with an L. With an LP. Shingo versus Okada, amazing match. One of my favorite matches of the month. I would have to say it's up there for the best match in February of 2023. Okada, at this point, we know what an Okada match is. It's going to be slow pace. It's going to pick up nice. He's not going to be able to hit the Rainmaker, but then when he hits the Rainmaker, it's 1, 2, 3. The opponent is staring at the lights. But going over to Noah. Noah had a show. Naito, of course, wrestling Muda, he came out and just cut like a mid-show promo. I'm not really used to seeing stuff like this in Japan. They maybe do it a lot in Noah, definitely more so than they do in New Japan. And, Naito's posing, Muda's posing. February 21st, I gotta review that show. Come on, guys. I gotta review that show. But I might stick to American wrestling after that. Just do the big New Japan shows, the big Noah shows. But just kind of American wrestling. That's kind of, I don't know. I gotta trim the fat here on this show, and I gotta kind of, you can't just always be a pro wrestling podcaster. You gotta have time to be an adult. You gotta set up auto pay on your gas bill. You gotta clean the outside of your new townhome. You gotta do things like that in life. You can't just talk about Kitamina wrestling Jack Morris for the GHC Heavyweight Championship and how good of a match that was, and then afterwards Kitamina retains, of course, and Kitamina gets attacked by Okada. So we're gonna get Okada and Kitamina champion versus champion on the same show where Muda's last matches. Things like that make you not want to be an adult. Things like that make you feel like a kid again. Things like that make you kind of escape reality in a way few things can, guys. I'm just saying I'm getting backed up with work, okay? That's all I'm saying. No need to go crazy here, guys. I mean, Alexander Volkanovski, champion. That was cool to see in the UFC. I might, I think I'm gonna still talk about the UFC stuff. I'm also gonna definitely talk about AEW. We're gonna be ranking every single match from worst to first, from 2 Dynamites and a Rampage. My thoughts on AEW Dynamite from February 8th. The Joe video package, talking about the Darby match was really cool. He's the most underrated talker, I think, of the last 10 years. Tony Storm and Saraya beat up Ava Bates like a bunch of jerks. MJF promo from that night was pretty harsh. He talked about how he wrecked a car while getting head, and then he took the girl that was giving him head, who was passed out, and put her in the driver's seat and kind of blamed her when it was his fault. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's pretty low even for the champion there, MJF. Billy staying in the back during the Acclaimed match, kind of foreshadowing a little bit here. I don't know. We'll talk more about that later. Impractical Jokers in wrestling get put in their place, which is put through a table by the JAS. I don't like it when celebrities come on wrestling. I love it when they get beat up for some reason, but then after they get beat up on wrestling, I got their back. MGK got thrown off the stage by Kevin Owens a few years ago, and even though I don't really like MGK's music, I'll defend him. And then subconsciously I realized it's probably because he was just on wrestling before. So these Impractical Jokers guys, I don't watch the show. I'm glad they got beat up. I cheered when they got beat up, but then when I see their commercials for their new season, I'm like, okay, these guys are cool. They're down. They're marks like me. So I don't know. I hope maybe you guys feel that way too. Let me know in the comments below what you guys feel about celebrities in wrestling. Stokely Hathaway getting punked out by Hook was funny. It was even funnier this week on Rampage how he dressed up like a Black Panther and wanted justice and everything. Thought that was hilarious. AEW Rampage though, Darby and Sting cutting a good promo, good delivery from Sting. Adam Cole sit down when he comes back. I'm sure it'll be cool, but I'm getting kind of tired of these sit-downs. Ricky Starks, always a good promo. Dustin Rhodes, good promo, then gets jumped by the affiliates. This is a fun little angle, and I think it's going to help out the affiliates a lot because, he's big, blonde dude from a few generations ago, and now you got these 2 big blonde guys. I think he can kind of show them the ropes a little bit. I think that they're going to improve a lot in ring and on the mic working with Dustin Rhodes. And, Swerve is always good too. He's tied up in that angle, of course, as well, and I think he's going to ultimately go over on Dustin Rhodes. So that's a nice little angle that I don't mind watching at all. Mark Briscoe promo was great, but then they're building to a Josh Woods match. I mean, Josh Woods, staple in Ring of Honor the last few years, and of course Mark Briscoe, staple in Ring of Honor. So you bring in Mark Briscoe, this fresh guy, to have a non-fresh matchup. Not a fan of that. Eddie Kingston versus Ortiz. House of Black just fucked this friendship up for no reason. They're a bunch of jerks. Hangman Page promo interrupted by Kit Sabian. They had a match. That match was good. This week on Dynamite, in memory of Jerry Jarrett. And then Jeff Jarrett wrestled right after that. I mean, hats off to him. Cowboy hats off to the Memphis legend, Jerry Jarrett. And cowboy hats off to the Memphis legend, Jeff Jarrett. I wasn't a fan of Jeff Jarrett in WCW. Hated him in TNA. Thought he just overbooked the hell out of himself. But in AEW, I like the guy. Think he's funny. You got to love an old wrestler. Danielson, bloody face promo was amazing. Wardlow sit down, a lot cooler than Adam Cole sit down. MJF coming out, cutting another crazy promo. Not as crazy as, wrecking a car while getting head and switching the car seat out. And he attempted to pay Christopher Daniels money to shit on Bryan Danielson, and he wouldn't do it. He gave him back the money, and he started shitting on MJF. I was like, man, what a backfire there. But, Christopher Daniels got to hold it down. The Guns promo, we'll get to that a little later, but I thought the promo was good. I thought the promo was good. We'll just say that. We'll get to it a little later. Tag Team Battle Royal, to set up another Tag Team Battle Royal to see who will be the other two teams in the match with the Guns and the Acclaimed. I mean, this is a lot of work to set up a match, a pay-per-view quality match, when you could just, have the Lucha Brothers versus the Acclaimed and not have the Guns with the title, or you could do the Acclaimed versus the Bucks. There just seems to be like this upper echelon teams that the Acclaimed never got to wrestle during their reign as champions, and I think they were more over than the Lucha Bros when they wrestled as champions. I think right now in 2023 they're more over than the Young Bucks, and I think that these teams, these upper echelon teams, kind of knew that and were busy putting over Top Flight, someone who's a few rungs past them, and then saying, "Look, we put over Top Flight. We, you can't say we don't put people over, but you got to put over the right people. You got to put over the budding champions to make their reign feel special, and to bring in, a new team into this upper echelon fold." And I feel like the Bucks, the Lucha Bros, really dropped the ball on doing something like that with the Acclaim. They had to go back and rehash an old angle with the Guns and put the title on the Guns. I'm just not a fan of it, as you guys can probably hear right now in my voice. But I think this is a convoluted four-way, but we're getting two battle royals out of it. Might be a fun thing to watch. The Elite and Top Flight and AR Fox are wrestling again on Slam Dunk. I know I kind of just shit on the Bucks. I do like the Bucks, and I do think this is going to be a good match. Jericho Appreciation Society, another funny promo as always. And then we're going to be ranking every single match from worst to first. All 17 matches. Number 17, Jungle Boy versus Ryan Namath. Slice Bread, Sliding Lariat, 1, 2, 3. Number 16, Ruby Riot versus Ruby Soho versus Maria Shafir. Vicky with Maria Shafir, A+ AEW fan if you remember that shit. Headbutt Battle, that's why I got ranked above the Jungle Boy Ryan Namath match. Destination Unknown, 1, 2, 3. Number 16, The Acclaim versus the Guns. The Acclaim lost, as I said, and I'm going to just say it again. I mean, the Guns, they did their thing through the pandemic. True AEW homegrowns. I think Austin might have had one or two indie bookings, but Colton Gunn has only had matches in AEW, which is crazy to think about. They put the title on them for Heat, but I'm not gonna say go away Heat, but I do think it was in time. I think the Acclaim's title run had legs, and there's a lot more teams, maybe like AEW originals, who could have been putting over the Acclaim instead of rehashing the Guns, only to have them lose to the Guns. But this might make the Acclaim kind of have that underdog feel still, and people might not get tired of them as quickly. Number 14, Brian Cage versus Jungle Boy. Brian Cage needs a push. Jungle Boy got the victory here. I love the dive. Jungle Boy goes back in for the dive, gets caught, gets apron bombed. That was my favorite spot in the match. But yeah, why isn't Brian Cage pushed more? He's strong, he's big. Where's Keith Lee? Where's Miro? I feel like they signed all these big guys. Where's Lance Archer? They signed all these big guys. The big guys show up for one or two times, and it seems like they piss off Tony, or Tony doesn't like them, or what's going on? Like, there's so many guys signed to AEW, you never see any of them, it feels like. Number 13, Josh Woods versus Mark Briscoe. Oh man, Mark Briscoe is handling everything well, and is handling everything in stride, getting signed to AEW and whooping Josh Woods' ass. You gotta love it. Number 12, Hayter versus the Bunny. Bunny taking it to the champ a little bit, suplex onto the steps by the champ. Some sloppy shit goes down. Hayter gets the victory and might have legit fucked up the Bunny. Who knows? Number 11, TNA Singh, Sanjay, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett versus the Acclaim and Cassidy. Fun little match. I love this match. I liked how they kind of broke up the structure of Dynamite. And they had like a real fun match off the top with this 8-man tag. Number 11, another fun multi-man tag. The Blackpool Combat Club versus Butcher, Blade, and Kip. Butcher and Claudio going at it. Yuta in trouble. Then they start cutting off the ring, cutting Mox off. He's in trouble. Huge power bomb from the top to the floor. Penelope stops Claudio by just holding a phone in front of his face for some reason. I didn't get that at all. Let me know in the comments below what the fuck was going on there. I didn't get it, but I'm glad she was on my screen. Yuta with the German to the Butcher, that was cool. Huge uppercut to the Blade. 1, 2, 3. Blackpool Combat Club get the victory. Number 9, Cassidy versus Moriarty. This was a fun match. Cassidy, had a little fan in the crowd. And I love the little fan's dad, who was also dressed up like Orange Cassidy. Lee couldn't stomp Cassidy, getting stressed out as fuck. Stokely and Danhausen going at it on the outside. Beach break, 1, 2, 3. Jarrett, Lethal attack Cassidy. The Acclaim come out to make the save. That sets up the 8-man tag that we already talked about. And then we're going on to number 8, which was the Ricky Starks Gauntlet. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Luke come out first. They get beat. Daddy Magic gets rolled up. Garcia and Guevara come out. Who is Starks going to wrestle? We don't know. Starks still ends up getting the upper hand. Sit down powerbomb, both men down. A masked man attacks Starks in the crowd. Who could it be? Vintage Jericho, always wearing the lucha mask to get the upper hand on his opponent. Ricky Starks and the Jericho Appreciation Society still have beef here, of course. And number 7, Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, and Britt Baker. Several spots. This match is kind of ranked a little low, I think. I would feel like should rank it, a little higher than I have. It sits at number 7. I love how Tony Storm at one point had Ruby Soho in a Texas Cloverleaf, and Britt Baker was going to do the lockjaw, but then Saraya broke it up right in front of the ref, spray painted an L on Tony Storm's butt, and Tony just ran right in to Ruby Soho's face. I mean, I was sports entertained there. Number 5, Mox and Claudio versus Preston and Roosh. Tornado tag going all over the place, brawling in the crowd. Good to see Preston Vance get his feet wet here. Get his forehead cut in this kind of a tag match. Number 4, MJF versus Takeshita. This was a great match. World champion on free TV. Let's go Maxwell. Maxwell sucks chance. Cena treatment. Takeshita paying homage to Eddie Guerrero. I thought it was cool, much to the chagrin of K-Dog, though. He didn't think it was cool. He got a little flack for saying, don't pay homage to Eddie unless you're Hispanic, playing into the full, the amount of Hispanics that were there in Dynamite on that week. I mean, I don't have a problem with them, but I'm just a white guy from North Carolina. I didn't really know too much about what's going on there. I just, Frog Splash is cool. Cool move. Lariat from both men. Lariat from the top rope. MJF lands on his feet. Delivers a super kick after that. That was a 6 spot. MJF locking in the armbar. Takeshita taps out. MJF attacks Takeshita after the match with the ring like a dick, busting open Takeshita. Danielson makes the save. And we'll talk a little bit about what happens after that in a little bit, because we got to talk about number 2, the Elite versus AR Fox and Top Flight. I give the Bucks a lot of shit here, but this match was amazing as always. The Elite doing cool shit. Fox doing cool shit. Fox can't put Omega away. Matt doubling up on the Northern Lights. You gotta love when he just Northern Lights all over the ring. Inverted senton from Fox. 1, 2. No. 450. 1, 2. Omega breaks it up. V-trigger. Crucifix roll up. 1, 2, 3. The Elite get the victory. And that goes into number 1. The match of the last few televised AEW shows. Danielson versus Roosh. Takeshita was injured in the back. Danielson was checking on him. And MJF goes and locks the door. Tries to prevent Danielson from getting the victory on Roosh here. But he gets in the ring. Doesn't get counted out. Roosh chopping the shit out of Danielson. Roosh, I mean, he's just been all over the place having great matches for the past few months now in AEW. Roosh chopping the shit out of Danielson. Danielson busted open. Roosh licking the blood like a sick fuck for no reason. Bitch slap battle on the apron. Belly to belly off the apron. Danielson dives. Missile dropkick chop battle. Bryan lands a kick. Pile driver from Roosh. Psycho knee. 1, 2. Roosh kicks out. Bitch slap battle again. Psycho knee. 1, 2, 3. Danielson gets the victory. You gotta love pro wrestling. You gotta love real life. You gotta love podcasting. It's fun. It's fun. Fly high. I'm out.